This is Cyberpunk 2077, and Cyberpunk is undeniably beautiful and insanely cool. So, let's make it into a live action film with no money, big help from friends, and a bunch of VFX. But before I even started, there was one big problem. I've never actually played the game before. So I needed to interview an expert to learn more. This is my friend Eric, and he's a die-hard fan of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yo!
He's a lot of the Japantown, and so I've got a whole collection now.
Do you have any favorite locations or a scene that you might want to see in live action? Do you have one?
Pyramid Song.
Pyramid Song.
And it's actually a reference to a Radiohead song.
For those of you who haven't played the game, Pyramid Song Quest is the last mission between our main character V and the brain dance technician Judy. It's basically a scene where they explore Judy's sunken hometown.
If you said we'd see a sunken town.
Like it?
To be honest, I wasn't really expecting an underwater scene. I thought it was more gonna be or... Please watch the anime, it's gonna break you. In a good way. Anyways, here's our plan. We have an underwater dialogue between Judy and V as the main through line, and insert montages of cool cyberpunk locations like Japantown and Night City. And yes, obviously I can't make a whole 10-minute VFX-fueled cyberpunk short film in a week, so it's more gonna be 40 seconds and be like a trailer. I'm gonna do all of this with the power of VFX, so instead of going full-on James Cameron mode, I just set up a green screen environment in my bedroom and started filming. I got my friends to wear this helmet with 2 headlights attached to mimic this underwater lighting. By the way, I've never done underwater 3D stuff before. Pretend that you're underwater, right? And you're kind of floating around. So I'm just making things up along the way. Then Judy will imply that, oh, big corporation sunk in my hometown for profit, and we cut to an ominous video conference room in Arasaka where the evil guy is, and it ends with V opening his eyes and cutting to the title, Cyberpunk 2077. It's very corny, I know, but I like these kind of shit, okay? And finally, we went to the city to film the rest of the insert shots, and the filming was done. Shooting for the Cyberpunk is officially done! Alright, it's done. It's my room's a mess, but at least it's done. Then I edited the sequence and ended up with 19 VFX shots in total, for which I need to create 10 unique CG environments in just 7 days. Fuck. After I keyed my actors from the background for all of the shots, I dived straight into the underwater scene. First, I loaded my footage in Blender as a plane. Then I added the sunken highway in the background, which is just a kitbash 3D scans I downloaded from Quixel Bridge. Wait, what? It's called Fab now? Okay. Then I kitbashed 3 3D models to make a similar enough diving helmet and tracked it to the head movement. Since our footage is actually existing in 3D space, I can literally put her head in CG helmet to get visor reflections over her face. Parent the headlights and headlight flares, add some extra lights, fogs, tiny debris particles, then render the scene. Finally, I added the bubbles, lens dirt, chromatic aberration, lens distortion, and a couple of flares in DaVinci, and our first shot is done. It's crazy we can do all of this completely for free. For V's shot, since it wasn't hassle to change the whole lighting setup, we decided to just flip the shot in post. And also it was super hot during the day, so we wanted to quickly wrap it up.
I was just melting all day.
However, I completely forgot the fact that V had face implants and I didn't put any marking trackers on him, so it was impossible to track any CG implants. But luckily, the amazing free software EBSynth let me Photoshop a single frame and then automatically applied the VFX to the rest. Then I copy and pasted everything from shot 1, and just like that, 11 shots were completed. And I used the same EBSynth technique for V's opening eye shot. I did extra compositing and that's another shot done. I got introduced to EBSynth when watching Joel Haver's animation video. It can do lots of crazy stuff, and there's also a tutorial on his channel, so maybe you should check it out. However, the underwater scene isn't complete without these wide establishing shots. To make it somewhat accurate to the game, I looked at gameplays as references to create the church and this elevator pole thing. I modeled them from scratch, textured them, and added extra free assets. But of course, I couldn't film wide shots of my friends floating around, so I needed digital doubles. Digital doubles are usually made with 3D scans of actors, and I've done it in the past. But because Judy and V are far away from the camera and I wasn't bothered, I just downloaded a random character from Mixamo and modified it into a diving suit. Then I added swimming animations, also downloaded from Mixamo, because this is what I can animate. And all underwater shots are completed. I learned that adding volume haze, floating particles, and stock footages of bubbles really sells the underwater effect. We only have 5 shots left, but these ones were more difficult because of their sheer size and because they look so cyberpunk. However, the time was running out. I only had 2 days to do 5 complicated VFX shots, and it was crucial that they looked good. So for these shots, I basically kit bashed most of the environment from free websites, my past sci-fi projects, and Ian Hubert's Patreon to give the scene some love. I got the hologram ads from the actual gameplay, and some of them are my original assets, but I also kinda screen recorded a behind the scenes video from this independent short film, Slice of Life. Please don't sue me, Luca, please. Please don't sue me. Of course, I did some of the modeling myself, but I also did want to sleep.
Bro, I just want to sleep.
So these assets really helped. And there were also unique problems to solve for each of these shots. I added a holographic shader to a normal koi fish model for the Japantown shot. I had to add CG reflections to real skyscrapers for the exterior shot. And the gameplay footage wasn't realistic enough for the video conference, so I just added the opening from the live action Ghost in the Shell movie starring Scarlett Johansson. Also, for some shots, I had to remove a lot of work I've already done. The facing plans for the Corpo didn't look that good, so I got rid of it. I had to re-render scenes multiple times due to some mistakes, and we filmed a bunch of shots in the city that didn't make it to the final cut. And before I show you the final film, I just want to remind you that all of this is made with free softwares. Except Photoshop. And you can actually do something like this too. Well, of course, with some time and effort. But anyways, without further ado, let's jack in and experience our braindance session.
Next up, sound check. I'm gonna hum a song, you give me the title. Read me? It used to be called the Lagoon Event. Just 15 years ago, people still lived here.
What happened here? Why did it get flooded?
Because someone stood to profit. Alright, we are all tuned and synced.
What now?
Prepare to have your mind blown.
So that's it. I could have done this shot better with more time, but I'm really proud of this. Wait, no, don't click on.